everybody, welcome to my apartment floor. Today I wanted to talk to you about something that's very close to my heart, and that is houseplants. I have a lot of them. They are something that bring me great joy every single day, and I just wanted to introduce you to some of them, some of the things that have been making my day-to-day life a little bit more special. This could be quite a long one. At last count I had, what did we decide? 26 separate plants. Now I'm not going to go through every single one for you, but we might be here a little while, so grab yourself a cup of tea or something lovely to drink and let's get started. When I was growing up, my bedroom was in the basement and at the back of the house, so I had this very small window that faced the backyard, and I could get maybe a couple hours of sunshine a day. That window had a fairly large windowsill, and I remember probably when I was in middle school, I took a cutting from one of the Pothos plants that we had upstairs, put it in some water, and eventually transplanted that to a pot and put it on that windowsill. I was very, very excited to be growing that. It's not a difficult plant to grow, but it's a very rewarding plant to see grow. So that was my first introduction to looking after houseplants. And so when I eventually did move out, I instantly knew I needed something, a spider plant, whatever, in my apartment, and that made a huge, huge difference. And so since then, they've been a staple in whatever my living space is. Enough blah blah blah, let's meet the cast. I'm gonna start with this guy here. Has quite a history with me. This is the first plant that I bought when I moved to Vancouver almost 4 years ago. I didn't have any friends here, and I felt a real longing for home, and I felt very, very uncomfortable everywhere I was. I did have my own space and my own room, but it was very small and didn't seem very personal. The very first week that I lived here, I went and got myself a small spider plant. And when I got him, he was probably not even a third the size of this. I think I might have given him a name when I first got him, but for the life of me, I can't remember what it is now. Nevertheless, he's been with me for a long time. Whether or not you give a houseplant a name doesn't really matter too much. Doesn't mean I love him any less. We've been through a lot. Spider plants are very vocal when something is wrong, so you can tell quite easily where it's getting its sunshine, obviously, whatever on this side. And this one's quite happy. We're getting plenty of sun and plenty of water, but they will droop whenever they need to. They'll change color to quite a bright yellow when you're getting too much water. They're quite easy to look after. They're a staple, basically, and they're wonderfully dramatic. I mean, look at that. That is not a shy plant. I should note that most of these plants I bought within the past year and a little bit. That's the time that I've been living in this apartment, and I live here on my own, and it's a very small apartment, but in order to make it mine, I decided to fill it with things I love. And from that, I've grown this addiction to houseplants. I do also suffer quite a bit from depression, seasonal depression and minor depression throughout the year. And looking after houseplants has been a major help in just keeping me going from day to day, having something to look after, bringing some nature and light and life energy into my living space. This is the case for a lot of people, I find. Having something to look after, even if it's not a creature, still looking after a living thing and sharing a space with a living thing or many living things can be a real benefit for people who do suffer from depression and anxiety, as I do. Over this past year, I decided to investigate the world of succulents. Succulents are tricky plants. They can be really temperamental, and they can be really, really picky about sunlight and warmth and water and everything. So I've had hits and misses with them. These three are some succulents that I've looked after. I don't know the names of them, but here they are. I keep them on my windowsill. This guy here was one of my first rescue plants. When I got him, was about this tall and had a very unhappy twin who was flopping over the side of the pot. Nevertheless, I decided to take a chance and I brought him home, removed the unhappy sibling, and just gave him some love and attention. And it took quite a while, but he's toughened up grown twice as high, and just in the past few weeks it's grown this lovely new friend. So I'm very excited for this one here. This is another succulent that I have no idea how to look after, but I've put him in a mug just to see if he's happy. I don't know if he is, but we'll see. This here is another window dweller. This is my Jade plant. I knew that I wanted to get a Jade plant because they have a history of bringing good luck, but also I've named this one after my boyfriend's sister Jade, and one of her middle names is Ualani. So this is Ualani, my Jade plant. When green Jade plants get a lot of sun, they can turn quite red, and this is okay. This is totally natural. It just means they're absorbing a lot of sun, and I kind of think of it a little bit like getting a suntan. There's nothing wrong with it. It's totally okay. You can move it out of the sun if you don't want it to look like that, but I thought it was pretty cool. Right now, obviously, this one is enjoying a nice amount of sun, but not too much. Another window dweller and recent addition is this guy here. This is a purple inch plant. I don't know how this one's going. I don't know how to look after them. Much like an inchworm, you've got little sections of growth on the stems that are just a nice solid dark mauvey purple lavender color. Pale green on top, and then the stem bringing out some lovely purple. And purple and green is just such a wonderful color pairing, I think. This guy here, this is a turtle vine. Ignore this part here, I have no idea what's going on. But this side here is obviously quite happy and healthy and falling out of the pot. Turtle vines are full of little surprises. On the top section, you have lots and lots of lovely tiny leaves that are beautiful green, but hidden on the underside of the leaves, they're purple. And I just think that's such a lovely, sweet surprise. Now you do have to be careful with turtle vines because they do take over land quite quickly. As you can see, this one's stretched quite a bit. So if you're going to be placing them with other plants, make sure they're quite sturdy because they do have a tendency to smother other plants, so you want to be careful there. Another one of my succulents that I forgot to mention was this one right here. Again, I don't know the name of it, but I wanted to just draw your attention to the little pot that we found for it. Now, I am a Pokemon nerd, and this guy here, as you can see, is in the shape of a little Bulbasaur. And I found these online sometime early last summer, and this one right here, my boyfriend got for me for my birthday a little bit later on. And I just think it's so sweet, and it's such a classy way of bringing in some nerd culture along with another one of my obsessions. My first favorite Pokemon was Oddish when I was about 7 years old, and it doesn't surprise me that my love for plants would have started way back then. This guy here is the closest I got. This is a palm plant. This one sits next to my laptop on my work desk. It's got these lovely, long, slender, sleek leaves, and it's just such a lovely architectural piece with its tall stalks. It's like having a little mini forest. When I was very little, I used to watch on CBC Big Comfy Couch, Mr. Dress Up, and Under the Umbrella Tree. And at the time, I didn't know that an umbrella tree was a real thing. When I learned that an umbrella tree really is a real thing, I decided I wanted one for myself. Now I can't really have a tree in a tiny apartment like this, so I got the next best thing. This here is my little umbrella plant. I love this kind of heart shape. It's almost like the plant is giving me a whole bunch of high fives. There's just something so classic about it and clean and just lovely. I have a few plants that I don't know their names. I picked it up because of the beautiful foliage going on here. Just a really nice dark green and some yellow and red going on. Now these are two leaves that have come up since I brought it home, and I don't know why there's no color on them or if there's something I should be doing. If you've got any info for me about plant care or what this one might be, if you know some stuff about any of the plants I've got here and you want to give me some feedback, then leave me a comment down below because I would love to know if there's something I could do to help this one show its colors. This is another one I don't know the name of, but picked it up just because of its aesthetic appeal. I love this dark green and the pale yellow going on. Don't know what it's called. If you know, please let me know. I don't even think I've moved this one into a new pot yet. We don't have much of a relationship. This is a recent addition. This is my most recent addition. This is my Maidenhair fern. Again, not much of a relationship with this one yet, but I've given it a new pot and I'm ready to see just how it's going. I mean, some plants take time. I think of plants having different personalities. Some of them are very responsive and will let you know when something's wrong or when something's going well. And others are just a little bit more shy, and I think this one here is a little bit shy and is sort of slowly taking to its new life here. For those with and without green thumbs, I say have patience. Some plants will take a week to get comfy, some will probably take 6 months, you never know. So have patience, and it does pay off. Something I love a lot about this one is the leaves. It's got really, really delicate, quite frilly leaves. I think once it grows a little bit more and it relaxes a bit more into its new environment, I think it could be quite a romantic piece. Love it. I think it's really sweet. This guy right here is one of my porch dwellers. This is a foxtail fern, named after its shape. This can be confused with asparagus fern, and I have looked it up quite closely, and I believe this is a foxtail fern and not an asparagus fern. This guy I brought inside for the wintertime, and I think it prefers being outside. I just get this vibe that it's not so happy being indoors. But we'll see. You'll be going outside soon enough, love. Everybody can do with some good bamboo, and this guy lives in my bathroom. Picked him up from the supermarket about a year ago, and he's grown quite a bit, these nice lovely tufts up here, and I keep him in a sparkling pear drink bottle from IKEA, or Drick Bubble Peron. Drick Bubble Peron. Thank you, my sweet. Because everyone needs a good pothos plant, this one here is mine. This guy I keep at quite a height because it grows downwards like a vine. This one actually came to me as a cutting from a friend of mine. My friend Sandra and her sister have quite an abundance of pothos plants that grow along the tops of their bookshelves, and she was nice enough to bring me a cutting in a small jar that was about, at the time, about the length of this guy right here. But as you can see, he's enjoyed having a new home, and I'm quite pleased. This here is my snake plant. Now, when I think of houseplants of the 90s or turn of the millennium, I think of snake plants. They're just so classic, and they're so easily recognizable in cartoons and other video games and things. So this guy here, I just love it. It's such a wonderful structural piece. It's so sturdy and it's got such a wonderful texture on it. This guy started off as a bit of a rescue plant, not a huge rescue mission, but as you can see, this part here has been cut off and so less desirable for most households, but I was very happy to bring him home. This is my Jasmine plant. This is my only flowering plant. I don't know why that is. Several times during the year she'll bloom with tiny white flowers, and these are the jasmine flowers that release the fragrance. Most often I can smell the flowers before they've even bloomed. It's such a rare and lovely treat to know that this is coming from something that I've looked after myself. Very lovely, very sweet leaves, and always a nice surprise when the small flowers come out. This here is my banana plant. Not that I intend on growing any bananas in my tiny apartment, but I just couldn't resist bringing this guy home. It's so dramatic with its huge, huge leaves. I mean, it's your traditional jungle plant, right? So dramatic, and again, architectural, just taking up space. Such a bold plant. I absolutely love this guy. Most of my plants live on my desk or on my table or on shelves, but because this guy's so big, he's almost a piece of furniture, so he lives on the floor. Sorry about that, buddy. We're getting there. This is Fiddle. This is my temperamental philodendron. Show of hands how many people have a philodendron named either Phil, Philip, Philippa, Phyllis, anything like that. Give me a thumbs up if you do. He used to live on top of my drawers just over there, and he used to reach across the surface, reaching towards the sunshine. And as a result, this happened. Now, I don't quite know how to best fix this. I mean, he's a huge, huge plant, and I don't know if this is gonna help or what. But in the meantime, he's enjoying a different corner of my apartment where he gets more surround sunlight. Something I love so much about this, again, you've got lovely long stalks and huge, huge leaves. And there's something about it that reminds me of a dinosaur. Are they brontosaurus, I think? That just have the really long necks and they're just so nice and so long and smooth. There's something of dinosaur about this one here, and I just think it's great. Thanks, buddy. We're getting to the end. This guy here was my first ever rescue plant. Now, when I got him, he had maybe 3 leaves and 2 little dead ones popping out the bottom. But I brought him home, put him on my bedside table, and kept my eye on him. Gave him a new pot, something to live in. I pulled away the little dead leaves and just waited. sometimes you really have to have patience. A lot of people will back away from houseplants because they think they just die on them. And that's fair. I don't have the greenest thumb, but I do have patience and determination. And a lot of the time, that's all plants need. This guy right here took about 3 or 4 months for any new growth to appear. But I kept at it, looked after it, gave it plenty of sun, plenty of love, and I'd keep it next to my bed. I have this theory that when I'm asleep in my bed, that's the time for healing and renewing energy. And so in my mind, I was sharing that with the plant. And so it's healing, it's regrowing, and it's renewing. So after about 3 or 4 months, I finally saw some new growth, and that opened up 2 new leaves. And since then, we've seen 1, 2, 3, 4 brand new leaves, another one on the way, and then another one just down inside it. So this guy I am extremely proud of. He's definitely much happier now and just thriving. He's got a new spot in my apartment, and I just couldn't be happier with how this one goes. Here's another porch dweller. I never had a porch growing up, but now I live in a top floor apartment and I've got one. And so I needed to acquire a hanging plant. Don't know what it's called, don't know anything about it, but I've brought him in for the winter because it's very cold outside, and I think he's thrilled to be inside here. I don't have anywhere to hang it from, so for now it just exists on my little step stool right here. This poor little guy here is having a very bad time right now. This is my aloe plant. Up until about a week and a half ago, he was very exciting and very sturdy, but I have no idea what's just happened here. If you have any insight to provide on looking after aloe plants, please let me know. I don't know what's going on here. This guy's already over a year old. I guess it's going through a phase. It's his emo phase. And last but not least, one of the more recent additions to the family, this is my Aphelandra plant. This is my newest rescue plant, and so it lives next to my bed. And already in the past month and a bit, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 new leaves grow and 2 more on the way. And I just think this one's beautiful. It's got such lovely, lovely striking and stripy texture on the leaves. A beautiful dark green and a lovely dark brown woody stem. So I don't know what this is going to eventually look like, but I think it's beautiful. And so there it is. I hope you enjoyed this long trek through all of my houseplants. I realize there are a lot of them, but they make me really, really happy. Thank you so much for joining me and listening to me prattle on about my houseplants. I really do love them a lot, and they bring so much joy into my life every day. Again, if you have any tips for me on looking after any of my plants, please share them down below. Or if you have some plants that you absolutely love or you think I should get, tell me about it in a comment and I will definitely check them out. I've really, really loved building my family of houseplants here, and I highly encourage you to check some out for yourself. It's a really wonderful way to bring nature into your own home and to surround yourself with life, because these are living things and they're a wonderful way of bringing light and energy and joy into your daily life. I've really benefited from it, and I hope you will too. And again, thank you so much for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you like, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!